In this video, we're going to talk about two topics. These two topics I'm going to address are nonverbal communication and listening. First, I'm going to start off with nonverbal communication, why it's important for both care workers and service users, the types of nonverbal communication and how it impacts and affects service users and social care practitioners. There are many reasons why nonverbal communication is important, and according to Michael Argyle, he lists 5 main reasons why nonverbal communication is important. These include expressing emotions, to communicate interpersonal relationships, to support verbal interaction, to reflect personality, and for greetings and goodbyes. Nonverbal communication has a big impact on service users within the sector of social care, according to Ingleby. Social care practitioners should always use nonverbal communication with service users, such as touch and facial expressions, to show empathy. There are many different types of nonverbal communication, as stated by Joe Hare, but today we're going to talk about 4 of these types of nonverbal communication. These include paralanguage, prosemics, kinesics, and haptics. For paralanguage, according to Dutta and Saha, states that paralanguage is a verbalized way of verbal communication. It refers to facial expression, tone, volume, speed, accent, pitch, and pausing. It also includes laughing and yawning. How we convey our paralanguage to our service users is very important, as a service user can act badly or act good depending on how we use paralanguage. For example, if a service user is telling us about something sad, we should show empathy by nodding, slightly frowning, or using soft tone to show that we actually understand what they're saying. Laughing or yawning during this time can be very inappropriate and shows a service user that we aren't listening and that we don't care about what they're saying, and this can be very disrespectful to them. The next type of nonverbal communication that I'm going to talk about is prosemics. This is an important factor to be considered when communicating with service users. Matcha and Gomez Palon suggest that there are 4 different types of prosemics. These include intimate space, personal space, social space, and public space. As a social care practitioner, we should not be in a service user's intimate space. There are many dependents for personal space, such as culture, what culture the service user comes from, what social situation you're actually in, what the gender is, and what individual's preference is. This takes us back to know your service user, and this is a very important step. Social spaces usually for interactions among acquaintances, and public spaces for public speaking and public social situations.
According to T. Wood, kinesics refers to the way that somebody positions and moves their body, including all of their facial expressions, be it conscious or not. It is important that service users can tell of their care worker's nonverbal communication. Service users can tell a lot about a care worker by the way they carry themselves, regarding both their feelings about themselves and their feelings towards the service user. This includes certain gestures that people might make. Gestures can be used to emphasise verbal communication, yet some gestures are taken the wrong way. For example, giving a thumbs up in Ireland is to symbolise being okay or good, whereas in Iran it's an offence. It's like the same as holding up your middle finger. This is why it's important for a care worker to know the history about a service user in order to establish a cultural awareness. There are plenty of other body movements, such as nodding your head and keeping eye contact, to show active listening, which we will discuss later. Kinesics can be really beneficial in situations such as a care worker having a meeting with a service user. The service user's body language can be studied by the care worker, and therefore they can deal with it appropriately. Certain indicators in the service user making uncomfortable would include such things as them shaking their legs, biting their nails, or twisting their hair. There are a number of ways in which a care worker can deal with a service user feeling uncomfortable, and one of these ways include haptics. Haptics is the use of touch in communication. Touch can be used to demonstrate a numerous amount of feelings, including affection and anger, and each feeling is portrayed in a different way. Positive touch is thought by Hardy to be important for both social and intellectual development. Hesel and Harper stated that there are 5 different reasonings behind physical touch. In a social polite way, as a bond in a friendship, a love or intimacy relationship, or for sexual arousal. For a social care worker, it is necessary to know what form of touch is acceptable between themselves and the service user. This includes knowing the history of the service user. For example, if your service user has been sexually abused, they might find touch to be threatening instead of comforting. Another form of communication that is just as important as nonverbal communication when dealing with the service user is listening. Both of these aspects of communication tie in together, which will now be discussed. Moss describes active listening as making an effort to understand what a person is not only speaking of, but what they are feeling and thinking of. It makes sure that the individual is being heard and fully understood, which is an important factor in a social care setting for a service user. Active listening can be shown through many different actions, such as your body language and the choice of the words in your response. If a service user does not feel like their care worker is listening to them, it can result in negative outcomes. It may involve the service user stop interacting with the care worker or can emotionally impact them poorly.
The function of listening is to gauge the service user in communicating their thoughts and feelings to a social care worker. Hargy et al. Mentions 5 key functions of listening. These 5 functions include focusing on the specific message that is being communicated by the service user, to have a full understanding and knowledge of what the service user is saying, to show that you're interested or concerned about what the service user is conveying to you, to establish an other-centered approach during communication with the service user, and to help the service user to show full, open and honest expression towards a social care practitioner. According to Purdy and Borisov, there are 5 different types of listening. They are discriminative, comprehensive, critical, evaluative, therapeutic, and appreciative. Discriminative listening involves reading into the details of a conversation and being aware of any underlying messages there are. A social care worker may use this particular type of listening to distinguish if a service user is trying to hide something like a feeling that they do not want to share. Comprehensive listening is about understanding the content of the message the service user is trying to convey. This type of listening creates importance around the fact that you are not trying to pull apart the message and analyse it, but you're instead trying to find a deeper understanding of it. Critical evaluative listening assumes that you are already understanding the message being conveyed. It is about evaluating someone's intentions behind what they are saying. Therapeutic listening includes using a non-judgmental state of mind and using your listening skills for the interests of your service user. This involves a certain degree of empathetic listening with the service user as they may need support through tough times. Even though poor listening contributes to the barriers of effective listening, there are other barriers that create a negative effect on our power to listen effectively. According to Steinberg, there are 2 main types of listening barriers, both external and internal. External barriers include distractions from the environment, such as background noises, outside activity, or even a telephone ringing. These distractions can cause discomfort for both the service user and the care worker and can create an uncomfortable environment for them. However, the barriers are not always around us. Some of them can be found within us. These internal barriers can sometimes impede our listening skills as our feelings become of a greater importance. These barriers can include feelings of anxiety, anger, making assumptions, and jumping to conclusions. There are 4 steps to effective listening. These 4 steps are active listening, listening with empathy, listening with openness, and listening with awareness. Swinson and Anthony discuss how important these steps are for effective listening. They are all necessary in aiding the service user to have the ability to speak and feel comfortable while doing so. It is vital the care worker actively listens, emphasises with the service user, and is open to them and aware of the conversation.